Hello, welcome to Comfy Cozy Up. So today I'm going to be doing my wrap up, but I'm going to try and do it quickly because the weather is not that great and just want to get over with. So for the month of June I read 8 books and they were mostly romance and family drawn, pretty much contemporary. And so I was surprised I didn't get any crime series or fiction, some kind of crime something in there. It just didn't happen this month. Definitely not gonna happen next month. I need to get some more crime mystery in my mix, at least one. I did fulfill my Caribbean series, so I did read one book that fell into a book by a Caribbean author that is a Caribbean story. So I'm going to start off with the Smotheathon. Now I attempted to do the Smotheathon and I only read one book that I will consider a part of that. The other book had smut, but it wasn't really romance, if that's the best way I can put it. So anyway, the book I read first was Rife, and that is a by Rebecca Witherspoon. Now, never heard of her, but I've seen this book the last time on someone's channel. I can't remember who it was, but I decided to pick it up because it's smart. So anyway, it was one of those romance where it was cute, but I had to give it the side eye a couple of times. It had the insta love part that I didn't kind of like because here comes this nanny and here is this very gifted young black doctor. She has twin girls, so she needs help, so she hired a nanny. But it was like instantly it was like, oh, let me engage in some sexual act with you, but no strings attached kind of deal. But then no, I'm gonna get my feelings attached. It was that kind of book. So for me it was just okay. I just read it just to read it, but it was all right. It was all right. I didn't hate it, but it was just all right. So then later on I picked up another ebook, which is towards the end of the month, and that one is a Love So Soft, and that's Chelsea Maria. Now I never heard of her, but I am going to read more of her books and do a full review on her books. And this one had also an insta love situation, but in a different kind of way. It's more like having a connection with someone and you feel like you can grow and be with that person. And so we have this young man who is really falling for this girl, and she comes with baggage. She has a lot of emotional and scars from her past, and he also have a complicated family. His brother is a recovering drug addict and he is there for him and helping him, and so he's dealing with two people in his life who he really loved, and he also had lost his father. So he has a lot, and for a book that's only 140 pages, she really crammed a lot in there, but it worked. It kept me engaged. I read that book pretty quickly, maybe 2.5 hours, something like that, because it was just so much going on that I liked. It wasn't perfect. The storyline had little flaws in there, but it still was one of those kind of books I feel like if you're looking for something that you want to read in between like your heavy kind of books, this would be a good book. And the romance was beautiful. I do like the romance in this, so yeah. And then the last ebook that I did pick up was Ethics 5, and you guys have to watch my review how I felt about it. But it was supposed to be the last book in the series, and sorry guys, it's not. So I was a little bummed out about that, but I also felt like one of the characters really got on my nerve in this one. But if you haven't seen any of my ethics reviews that I've done in the past, I think I started from April, so if you watch the April vlog, I will list it below. I talked about each, but it basically is a series about a man who used to be, it's an urban fiction. He used to be a part of the streets, left the streets, went to suburban, and of course he had a daughter that didn't listen and basically pulled him back because of a certain situation. So in the last book, it's more about the family dynamic and decision that particular teenage daughter did, and also his romance with a woman that been there from the first book, and how they are coping and dealing with the things that his kids are putting her through. So that's as much as I can say, but I can't wait for the series to be done so I can really give like a proper review of how I felt about overall the series. But for right now, this is all I can give you guys. And those are only 3 ebooks that I actually read. Now the physical books now is 5. Yes, so I'm gonna start with Beverly Jenkins' Rebel. And Rebel is a historic fiction, and Rebel was so good. Like, Beverly Jenkins is just the queen of historic romance. She has so much information, so much historical stuff in her books that you want to go Google it, you want to know more. And in this case, this is the 1800s in New Orleans, and this is a story about a woman who's a teacher, and she wants to teach of the black community. In this case, you have these recent free slaves, and they want to learn, they want to do things. And of course, she is, have to deal with obstacle of people not wanting that. And she is met a family who are, they're what you call like a middle class. They do have some wealth, and there's this women in that family for this man who are very strong and not the typical women you expect from that time period. But I love how the romance in this happened. I did talk a lot about this in my written review that I did on my blog. I'm going to link that down. But if you've never read a Beverly Jenkins, you can always start with this, because this is the first book in the series, Women Who Dare. But she also have these other historical fiction that you cannot go wrong. I've yet to read one of her books that I'm disappointed in, and so definitely pick this one up. Then I decided to pick up the next book because Dee Dee, and it was listed on the women's the prize award, and it didn't appeal to me, but when the Dee Dee talked about it, I decided to pick it up, and that is the Pisces. So let me tell you, this book, I didn't even know how to take this book. I still don't know how to take this book. There's moments where I'm laughing, there's moments I'm like, what? But then there's moments where I'm like, clever. This is like another version of a certain book I won't mention, where a breakup led to a mental meltdown, but in a way where in this book she's seeking help. She's going through these groups, and she's realizing like she's kind of codependent on chaos, and she's doing things that are silly. And in this case, you have a merman is like using this as a metaphor, and it's silly as hell. It's one of those books where the things that was happening, I'm like, okay, how am I really supposed to take this? But I couldn't help but laugh. I couldn't help but at times screaming at the book like, what is wrong with this woman? And in no time I'm laughing like, okay, here she go, like trotting along with this merman from the damn beach to her house, and the things that was happening, man, just read this book. That's the only thing I could think of. It's not my favorite. I think I gave it like a 3 because it wasn't something that I really wanted to take. You can't take this book serious. I don't know. It does have a good message. I will say that, because in the end, she is taking responsibility, and she is acknowledging her issues, and and her mental state, and trying to improve. So I will give her that, and I think that's the good positive takeaway from this book. But other than that, man, this was out there. That's all I could say. So then I read one of my favorite books of the year so far. Amazing, and it's my most anticipated book, and that was Patsy. And I did a full review. Please, out of all the books, at least go see the video that I did on this one, and you will see how much this book was just amazing. This book is so much in that video where I stated it is a lot of Caribbean people's autobiography. There's bits and pieces that a lot of Caribbean immigrants are able to take from this story, and experiences that a lot of them can, including myself. And I talked about how I can relate to this story, in terms of the impact it had and some of the experience that I had that may have been, although it was opposite from the character, I was one of the fortunate ones. I didn't have to experience some of the things in this. But this is a story I felt like I love that they took, not just talk about Patsy, but talk about her child in this story and what distance and years and not the unknown and what it can do to mother and daughter relationship. But if you haven't read Patsy, I really suggest you do. I think it's an amazing story, and she definitely put a lot of research, a lot of thought, a lot of realistic things in this story that I feel a lot of immigrants are going to be able to connect to. So, and again, I know a lot of people were talking so much about the sexuality in this, and it's really not the main focus of the story, just so you know. There's so much besides that, and how she did talk about in this story was beautifully done, and I do appreciate how it was written. But there's so much. This is a book that has a lot of theme, and I feel like a lot of people can review it and get and focus on different things in this book. And that's one of the things I love about this, is that she packed it with so much different themes that you might find a connection somehow to this story. So go watch my full review, guys. Then I read another YA, which is my second YA of the year, and that is With the Fire on High by Elizabeth Acevedo. Sorry guys, I forgot my phone was on. So anyway, this is a YA book, and I find that this is my second YA of the year, but it's also from the same author, the other one, which is Poet X. I also did a full review on this. I did a video on reading vlog on this, and again, this is one of those where I felt like the author did an interesting take on a story that could have easily went overboard and be just this dramatic sad story, but this wasn't that kind of story. This was one of those I felt like was inspirational, and also showed so much how important family can be, and how having a positive and supportive family can get you through things that bad decisions that you have made. And in this case, we have a young girl who is a teen mom and had, got pregnant at 14, and and could have easily went the other way, but she had supportive family. Our grandmother was there for her, and she's still struggling and doing the things that most teen does, except for in her case, she's a mother, so she doesn't have the kind of freedom as some of her peers to do and make mistakes. She still has to be responsible. She still has to do what she has to, take care of her child. And also too, I like that they did put a little bit of her meeting the guy and making smart decisions, also having opportunity career-wise and what she wants to do with her future. And it was nice. It was well done. And this is kind of the positive books you want with story like that. Not every teen child life goes in a toilet. There's a lot of teen moms who, although if they were given a chance, they would have chose a different path. They were able to survive and still become successful, so yeah, good one. And then the last book is one of the, I think I picked up 7 books from BookCon, and this is one of the ARCs that I received, and this is the most fun we ever had, and I really just finished this today, guys. And let me tell you, the title, at first, I mean, when I got almost to the end, I kind of was like, well, what is up with the title? And then the more I think about it, the more I realize the sarcasm and the hidden message behind the title. So this is a family, I would say family saga, because it's really 3 generations. So you have a husband and a wife, and they met in college back in the 70s. So they were very much academic, they were very much career driven, and of course, like back then and anytime in that period of time, sometimes things happen where you start having kids early. So the woman in return having to give up her dreams for our family. And then you also have the husband now, you know, he's doing the best and trying to you know, have the family set and being a doctor and having the, you know, the kind of picket fence life that you expect. So now they have 4 kids, and they're all girls, and they all have different personality. And in the story, you are going from now, and you're going back to when the parents met, from when each child were born, and the things that each child did to that you find layers of their personality, layers of why they did some of the things, or why they are the way that they are. And in case you have the oldest daughter, which I think is the most significant characters in the story, because she is the rougher on the edges. Oftentimes she can be a total bitch to her family, but she's also that person that if you fell flat on your face, that is a sister that's gonna pick you up. That's a sister that's gonna, she might chastise you in the middle of her helping you, but she will. Then you have the second child, where she is a year apart from her sister, but she's also the one that was a bit lost, but still had it good. It seemed like she just had the luck. But she is, you know, made a decision at a very young age where she had a child, didn't tell anybody, end up the child out there. Now the child is back in the picture. So that is the third generation that you are hearing about in the story. Then you also have a third sister who is, you know, the one that no one pretty much pay attention to, but she is like the one that takes things from people and allow things to happen, which is where her problematic relationship played a part in the story. And she is, you know, trying to please everyone and not really thinking about herself. And then you have the young daughter who is decided to go away and lie and lie and lie and lie the whole time, and her family not knowing what's going on. But she's always the baby, the taken care of, never had to do anything for herself, so she's struggling. Now there are a lot of secrets exposed in this story, a lot of things that they do to each other that is so typical in a way. I feel like with girls, the only thing is that you really see how they're affected. Each character is affected by their parents. A lot of times you will find that you live in the same household as your parent and have a totally different view on their relationship than the other siblings. And this is what you get, and how that affected them. They did touch briefly on postpartum, and you know, being a kid, you might not know that's postpartum, and your mother acting very strange, and you're not sure how you feel about that. Then when you grow older, you kind of know that's what it is now, and you worry that you might have the same effect. They touched on that. They touched on so much stuff, and be honest with you, this read really fast. This was like a little over 500 pages, but there was so much going on with these sisters, and that you just wanted to know more and more. And also when they did the flashback after every chapter of the parents' relationship, that was also interesting, and also give you a kind of insight where you would think of people who've been married for over 40 years, and you wonder how did they stay married that long, and how sometimes everything is not as easy or simple or loving as you think. And that was one of the things I love about this story, and how their parents dealt with conflict and dealt with things that were serious in their relationship, and how sometimes the kids knew something wasn't right but not knowing what was it, you know. So I really like this, and I'm really glad I picked this up at BookCon. This was at the Penguin Random House ice cream social, and I'm happy I picked it up. It's one of those ones I'll definitely add to my list of family drama. And it was an easy read, guys. It was an easy read. It was quick, and it's so much going on. And I think I'm still probably gonna, even though I talked about it here now, I might still do a written review on this, because there's certain things I wanted to talk about in terms of this kind of family setting. And but it was so normal. It was interesting, dramatic in some case, but it had that normal feel to a family. Like, it felt normal. So yeah, and that's it, guys. I am going to end this video here. This is a long review, I know, but I love the books, most of the books, you know, except for like one or two where it was just alright. But yeah, what is your favorite book you've read in June? Yeah, put that in the description bar. And thanks for watching. Bye.